OGTV main news. And now to the news in full. The World Health Organization, WHO, has raised concerns over the continuous spread of tuberculosis, warning that the disease remains one of the deadliest infectious killers across the world. The health institution raised the alarm in a message on Thursday in commemorating of the 2022 World Tuberculosis Day. It added that each day more than 4,100 people lose their lives to TB, while close to 28,000 people fall ill with a preventable and curable disease. To mark the 2022 commemoration of the fight against tuberculosis, the WHO with a team, Invest to End TB, Saves Lives, called on investors to channel more resources to strengthen the fight against the disease. Channeling resources, WHO says, is important, considering that the COVID-19 pandemic has put end to tuberculosis efforts at risk. The UN agency said before the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, global efforts to combat tuberculosis saved more than 66 million lives, but the progress was reversed due to coronavirus, as fighting the new disease diverted the attention of the global community. Students are considered vanguard of information and vehicle for change in societies. To this end, Ogun State Ministry of Health is keen into the spread awareness about tuberculosis. Thus, in commemoration of the World Tuberculosis Day 2022, 100 schools across the state are visited by stakeholders in the state in spreading the awareness of tuberculosis in the society. Ronke Adeyemi has more.
The 2023 general election fever is high.
Yes. Tuberculosis Day, observed on 24th of March each year, is designed to build public awareness about the global epidemic of tuberculosis and efforts to eliminate the disease. Considering the theme of World Tuberculosis Day 2022 is Invest to End TB, Save Lives, Ogun State Ministry of Health is keen into this campaign to put an end to the disease by focusing on creating awareness in over 100 schools across the 20 local government areas of the state. The campaign is focused on 5 schools in each local government and ended on a high note with a walk from Okelewo axis of the state capital to the Family Health Clinic, Okelewo, Abeokuta. Organizers of the platform noted that the various campaigns and health awareness programs will prevent and treat the deadly infection of tuberculosis.
Let me just assure you that this exercise that we're doing here today is being done in 100 schools in Ogun State. We have started before today. We want to ensure that 5 schools will be reached in each of our 20 local governments, making a total of 100 schools.
We are into the community in 15 AGA for community outreaches. What do? We try to mobilize people to tell people that having cough to come out to have free test and free treatment.
Stakeholders emphasize leveraging students alongside global efforts to combat tuberculosis.
Is also to promote TB diagnosis among children, which is also a major problem in the country. As part of the celebration of World TB Day today, we support the state's TB program.
So for us in Nigeria and for Ogun State particularly, our aim is to make the information about TB to get to every person living in Ogun and even in Nigeria, so that nobody dies unnecessarily from TB. TB is curable. The treatment is free.
According to World Health Organization, tuberculosis remains one of the world's deadliest infectious killers, but there are assurances that it is indeed curable with free medications provided in various health centers across Ogun State. Ronke Adeyemi, OGTV News.
We apologize for the video mix-up earlier. Still on health matters, a 10-year primary healthcare guideline standard and regulatory framework to improve healthcare service delivery in Nigeria has been launched at the Primary Healthcare Summit ongoing in Abuja. Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, who launched the document, says the federal government is prioritizing health security and making primary health care fully functional in the spirit of achieving universal health coverage.
No matter how robust we want a health system to be, it can only be as strong as our primary health system. Because of the preventive focus of primary health care, any investment in healthcare is a wise investment in the social and economic well-being of society. I think it's appropriate that we should reflect on the state of primary healthcare in Nigeria.
Revitalizing primary healthcare centers is central to this initiative and is key to Mr. President's health agenda and also the Ministry of Health's effort to reposition PHCs to deliver quality healthcare service irrespective of the location.
At the Nigerian Governors Forum, we remain committed to working with the Federal Ministry of Health, the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, and our partners to achieve our health goals.
2022 Primary Healthcare Summit, which has reimagined primary healthcare in Nigeria, has team aims of galvanizing national and international stakeholders to invest and also collaboratively implement a primary healthcare revitalization strategy for Nigeria. Plans are underway to construct 2,000 rural roads in Ogun State under the Rural Access Agricultural Marketing Project, RAMP. This was disclosed during an engagement between RAMP delegates from Abuja and stakeholders in the state. Dominic Agbeha reports that Ogun State is among the 13 states of the Federation benefiting from the initiative. This report is presented in this package.
The 2023 general elections in Nigeria, the country
initiative, which has the World Bank and French Development Agency as partners, will among other things construct 2,000 rural roads in Ogun State in its first phase, which will increase access to agricultural produce and also improve the living standard of the rural dwellers through the provision of potable water, sanitary facilities, building of agro-logistic centers with storage and processing facilities. The RAMP team from Abuja are in the state to advise stakeholders on the best practices as the state government is preparing to send two bills, Rural Access Road Authority and State Road Funds bills, to the State House of Assembly. Ministries visited included Finance, Budget and Planning, Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Agric, and the Ogun State Chambers of Commerce, Mines and Agriculture, Ogunsima.
We like the idea of alternative funding for these roads. As you rightly mentioned, yes, an ESCO committee was set up to harmonize a lot of our revenue sources. The biggest problem in the country today is the multiplicity of taxes.
Let's have our own input. We must see the bill, we must have our own input. And the ALGO is also very, very critical stakeholder. They are the ones that know where the shoe is. And as such, ALGO must be carried along.
The idea of having a source of funding for the maintenance of such rural roads is beautiful as well.
I have meeting with all the other relevant MDs. Here we need to go to the House of Assembly, like you have said, or call a meeting. The state is glad.
We are ready to work, to collaborate, and to support government on anything that will bring ease of doing business that we are clamoring for in the state.
Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Rural Development, said the project will open the rural areas to lots of opportunities, adding that plans are ongoing to ensure the rural dwellers continue to enjoy the project even at expiration.
When people get these goods due to good access road, good market environment, they will be able to take it from there easily without stress to the Abeokuta airport for export.
it's going to open a lot of things, a lot of opportunities.
Majorly, all of them welcome the idea, and they have promised to send to us their contribution and other suggestions.
An app has been built which will help stakeholders monitor the quality of work done and whether monies expended are judiciously used. Dominic Agbea, OGTV News.
Away from that story, Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Raji Fashola has given an update on the status of ongoing projects undertaken by the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, managed by the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority. The PIDF, conceived in 2018 by the President to accelerate the execution and critical and strategic infrastructural projects aimed at rapid growth for smooth running, has recorded significant success through implementation. The briefing highlights the importance of initiative to national projects driven by experiencing accountability. The infrastructural project under the PIDF includes the construction and expansion of the Lagos-Shagamu-Ibadan dual carriage.
Lagos to Shagamu, JB, 43.6 kilometers is 134 billion, because what we're doing there is that we're expanding the existing route from 2 to 3 lanes on each carriageway. And we're also providing some other services, service lanes. Amount that has been certified is 83%, 57% completion. Just like the Abuja-Kaduna Highway, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway also has at least 40,000 vehicles using it every day. So this is what we have to manage while we are constructing.
The second project is associated infrastructure for the second Niger Bridge linking Anambra and Delta States over 4 territories: FCT, Kaduna, Niger, and Kano States.
160 billion, and the percentage level is 91%.
The Ogun State government has charged the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, NAPS, to emulate its Learners Identification Number initiative so as to collectively fight truancy and ensure discipline in all public and private schools across the state. The Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, who gave this charge during the 10th Annual General Meeting of the Association held at NAPS Secretariat Obantoku, Abeokuta, noted that the initiative had helped the state to successfully fight against examination malpractices and the so-called special centers. Professor Arigbabu said that an objective analysis into the actions of the government in the education sector will make people realize that the Prince Dr. Abiodun government has done a lot in turning around the situation of education in Ogun State. Urging the private school owners to key into the programs and policies of the state government to further enjoy the available benefits. Described the association as being crucial when talking about educational development in the state, advising them to continuously keep the flags flying and work together as a team for efficient operations.
There is need for us to change the landscape of education in this school. And that is what this administration is doing. Prince Dr. Abiodun came on board, saw the situation and felt that there is need to do a lot and then declare emergency.
Speaking, the president of NAPS, Dr. Lawrence Olumide, pledges the support of the association for the government in order for it to further achieve its plan for an improved educational standard, appealing to the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology to continue the clamping down on unregistered schools. The United Nations Children's Fund on Thursday said no fewer than 9.7 million Nigerian students are at risk of never returning to school. The UN body noted this in Abuja during the launch of the Nigerian Learning Platform, an online mobile and soon-to-be offline learning platform that will provide continuous education to 3 million learners in 2022 alone. The UNICEF Executive Director, Catherine Russell, in a goodwill message delivered at the launch, noted that the passports would help education resources to reach the most vulnerable and marginalized learners. She said, before COVID-19, about 10.5 million Nigerian children aged between 5 and 14 were not in school. Today in Nigeria, more than 9.7 million children are at risk of never returning to school. Their learning left behind. The learning passports can help change that. By offering simple, easy, and fun ways to learn, as well as tailor-made training programs, the learning platform would help respond to the needs of every child. With online, offline, and mobile options, it can help us reach the most vulnerable and marginalized learners. The Vice President, Yemi Oshibajo, represented at the launch by the Minister of State for Education, Emeka Wanjuba, noted that there must be a change in the education sector to ensure continuity of learning. According to him, to ensure continuity of learning for all children and the resilience of education system to future shocks, government must change and reimagine the education sector. The UNICEF Country Director for Nigeria, Peter Hawkins, added that the deployment of the learning platform will provide learning opportunities when face-to-face interaction is not feasible or when children need to revise what they have learned in school. Still to come, 47,975 terrorists surround OGTV comprehensive news package. As the All Progressive Congress in Ogun State West Senatorial District declares support for the second-term bid of the Ogun State Governor, Prince Dr. Abeokuta, and his deputy, Engineer Noimot Salako Oyedele, the onus is on every member to work for the success of the party in all the elective posts in the coming elections. These were the words of leaders and members of the party in Abeokuta local government area during the West-to-West for Dr. Abeokuta convergence to declare support for the second term of the governor and call on Senator Solomon Adiola to contest for the senatorial seat of the zone in 2023, held in the council area. Matthew Shomi completes the reports.
Having taken the convergence to other 3 local governments in Ogun West, a crowd of supporters of the All Progressives Congress in Abeokuta local government came out to show support for the movement as they received the West-to-West for Dr. Abeokuta and the council area. Majority Leader of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Honorable Sheriff Abiodun Yusuf, leaders of the party in the area, and others said for the realization of the overall ambition of the zone, it is politically expedient that the zone unanimously supports Governor Abeokuta for second term and bring forward an experienced candidate for the senatorial seats of the zone.
At this point in time, we need this kind of gathering to support our man, Senator Solomon Adiola, Yayi, popularly known as Yayi. And we are drawing support for our amiable governor too, Prince Dr. Abeokuta Mefa, for the second term.
All we want to do is also showcase that Yayi and Dapo are 2 in 1.
If they are giving support for Dr. Abeokuta, I pray that whatever they have in mind can come true. I will advise my people to vote for the man of the people, Prince Dr. Abeokuta, for his second-term mandate.
Chairman of the Planning Committee of the Convergence in the local government area, Honorable Yomi Olojiloju, said the movement is for the overall interest of the zone.
These 2 visions above are based on nothing but the unparalleled and sterling performances of the duo as a governor and a federal lawmaker.
Chairman of Central Organizing Committee of West-to-West for Dr. Abeokuta, Dr. Kunle Salako, revealed that while the support for Dr. Abeokuta is a support for more development in the zone, the representation of Ogun West at the Red Chamber of the National Assembly must be explored in better ways by electing candidates with a proven track record.
Our mission as a group is to use our votes prudently and strategically for the development of our territorial district.
The communique was read at the end of the convergence and adopted by all. Matthew Shomi, OGTV News.
About 300 women from Ijebu Federal Constituency Central have benefited from the empowerment program organized by Adeola Aziz Community Care Foundation. Margaret Okulola reports that the convener, Honorable Adeola Aziz, said the initiative was born out of the passion to give back to the society. Our reports.
An empowerment program targeted at uplifting widows, elderly and disabled in Ijebu Central Federal Constituency who were drawn from Odogbolu, Ijebu Ode and Ijebu Northeast local government areas in celebration of the International Women's Day. With the theme, Awa Obinrin Day, food items and cash gifts were given to about 300 women who have been identified to really need the assistance with a view to making life comfortable for them. Considering the socio-economic impact of the initiative on all present, beneficiaries could not but be grateful.
She has impressed us and we wish other women to try and emulate in order to help other women.
Honorable Adeola Aziz, she has done so well for empowering these women today.
God will continue to protect her, to provide for her family.
Dignitaries and Ogun State government functionaries who graced the occasion called on stakeholders to emulate such an act while sensitizing women to be a support system for their counterparts in all sectors.
When you empower just one female, you've empowered the whole house. So empowering females today, it goes a long way in shaping and building our society. If we have more females being empowered, we're going to have a better society.
We should continue trying to break down the barriers. We should try. If the door is locked, we should keep on knocking, and we will break down the barriers.
Appreciative of the success of the day, the convener, Honorable Adeola Aziz, reviewed the indispensable role of women in the society, also noting she is ready to give back to the society through the initiative.
A burning desire to give back to my community, a burning desire to serve my community and to serve women, children, youth, and the entire community of my constituency.
Poem recitation and cultural display added glamour to the event. Margaret Okulola, OGTV News.
Now, there is need to reorientate the political class on the issue of indiscriminate defection from one party to another, which may be inimical to the development of democracy in Nigeria. This forms the crux of opinions of analysts while reacting to recent court judgments against the defection of some elected public office holders to another party, especially the case of Ebonyi State Governor Nweze Umachi. Elizabeth Esson puts this together in this special report.
Ahead of the 2023 general elections in Nigeria, the country has been witnessing defections of political office holders from one party to another. The recent ruling of the High Court declaring vacant the governorship seat of Ebonyi State, following the defection of Governor David Nweze Umahi, according to a public affairs analyst, is an indication that Nigeria's political law will be developed and further strengthen the nation's democracy.
Our laws might not be too strong to stop it, but the reality is that there are moral questions that will come that, okay, if that party had not given you their platform, would you have won the election? If that party had not given you the opportunity to contest on their platform, will you have been able to attain that office? So these are the moral questions that will go.
According to politicians, the party is the entity voted for and not the candidates. Therefore, the mandate rests with the party and must be upheld.
It is normal thing for people to defect, especially when you know, politicians, when you know that our ambition cannot be met, then there's every tendency that you defect to another party.
Our democracy gets deepened. Our jurisprudence also gets enhanced when some matters are tested out in a court of law. That's why the courts are there. The court will make adjudication. We all learn from that. There will be development in the system. There will be progress. And then, little by little, our democracy as an experiment will get a lot better.
The person who is the flag bearer for that party is important, but it is political party that you vote for on the day of election. So my own personal opinion that when you are elected on the platform of a party, you should be able to see that mandate to the end.
Legally, the major implication of the judgment, according to a legal practitioner, is its potency for stemming the indiscriminate cross-carpeting amongst elected office holders.
To me, if you look at the Supreme Court decision on the legislative side, where the court might be right, but the court will also have to look at it, whether there was a national dispute intra-party that could have enabled them to shift their allegiance from one political party to the other successfully. And once that is there, no court will say you should vacate your seat.
To respondents, every effort aimed at bringing sanity to the Nigerian polity is a welcomed development and should be explored. It would be recalled that the proposed legislation, which is currently awaiting its second reading in the lower chamber, is considering making the president or governor and their deputies to step down if they defect from the political party under whose umbrella they were elected to another. Elizabeth Esson, OGTV News.
Over 30 illegal developments completed and in use without building plan approval have been sealed by the Ogun State government through the State Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development. Our reporter, Margaret Okunola, was with a team that went round for the routine enforcement exercise of the ministry. Our report is presented in this package.
The Ogun State Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development is the apex body of physical planning in the state, saddled with the responsibility of formulating and coordinating physical development within the state. It derives its statutory functions from Section 3, Line 246 of the State Urban and Regional Planning, Law Number 20 of 2005. After ignoring the contravention notice served by the ministry, the state government sealed over 30 illegal developments, completed and already in use without building plan approval. The team, which was led by the Senior Special Assistant to Ogun State Governor on Physical Planning and Urban Development, Town Planner Tunde Olugbewe, sealed gas outlets, petrol filling stations, and other commercial outlets, all in Isheri Estate Community, Channels Road, Opik in Ifo local government area of the state. Town Planner Tunji Odunlami is the State Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development. He emphasized that the current administration will not condone illegal building constructions without planning permits, saying they are inimical to the development plan of the state.
A society is founded on the rule of law, a society that works very well. And all we are saying is that people should just, just follow the law. In a country that want to progress, in this state in particular that we want to wear a better look in terms of physical development, we need to be doing things properly. That is why we have come to do what we need to do today. And we'll continue to do that to ensure that we'll bring to bear a better living environment in Ogun State.
Town Planner Odunlami affirmed that the sealed properties were developed in breach of the building law, which included non-compliance with space standards, approved planning permits, construction of additional structures without permits, among others. He further enjoined property owners and developers across the state to abide by the physical planning laws of the state. Margaret Okunola, OGTV News.
Inculcating and imparting of moral values into learners right from elementary stage to higher educational level has been described as a major mechanism for a better and enviable society. The Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abeokuta Arigbabo, made this known during the visit of Yoruba Council of Youth Worldwide Ogun State chapter to his office at Okemoson, Abeokuta. Professor Arigbabo said that Yoruba culture and tradition is very rich, reliable and best way of guiding a child into the right path in life, saying any child that is properly brought up with good morals would definitely become a worthy leader tomorrow.
The
language seems to be dying because all of us seem to have relegated it to the background since we were consciously or unconsciously made to regard it as vernacular in school. It's a challenge, and I think organizations like yours should be encouraged. Whatever you can do to resuscitate Yoruba language and culture, you should do it.
In his speech, the state chairman of the council, Omoluabi Sunday Adebowale, stated that the purpose of the visit was to seek for the permission of the government for the establishment of Omoluabi School Club in all secondary schools across the state and to propagate the acceptance of Yoruba culture and tradition, which is germane for the peace, security, and coexistence of people. Speaking, the Commandant Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, College of Security Management, Okemoson, Abeokuta, Dr. Mrs. Susan Awonusi, submitted that Omoluabi School Club, if established, would help in championing the cause of moral behavior, such as good dressing, respect for the elders, and how to address people in a polite manner. The Ogun State Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Ogun-Sima, has taken the awareness of the 2022 edition of the Gateway International Trade Fair, which is to bring together local and global players to showcase, exhibit their goods and service, explore business and investment opportunities in Nigeria to Ogun East Senatorial District of the state. Benga Adekoya was with the team and his report is presented in this package.
Forthcoming 11th Gateway International Trade Fair will no doubt aid business networking, create value chain, as well as attract investors from far and near. It is against this backdrop that the organizer is creating awareness about the trade fair, which is expected to begin on Friday, 25th March to Monday, 4th of April, 2022. The awareness train started in Shagamu with a visit to Abulo Market, Itaoba Falowo Market, Sabo, Isaleoko, among others. The team also visited Ikene, Odogbolu, Ijebu-Ode, and Ekperuremo.
We have been there before. This is not the first time, and we know about it very well. And it's a good performance, which we love, even to have it in Ogun State.
Toto Dani, Toto de Mamunodoko ni. Ṣẹ́rí ìjọba tó wà ń bẹ̀ sọ ń gbìyànjú ìbátagbára ẹ̀ ká dẹ̀ lè ṣe jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Ṣẹ́rí kátàkárà kan ràn ọ́ lọ́wọ́ ló dà pàápàá obìnrin nídìí ìrànlọ́wọ́.
The leader of the team sheds more light on what to expect during the trade fair.
We are bringing the removers of industries, the captain of industries in Nigeria to Ogun State this time around. Not only the manufacturers in Ogun State, but entirely in the whole of the country. And they are coming here to showcase what they produce, what they sell, and to intimate our people so that they can benefit from it. Not only in buying cheaply, but also they can discuss with them to become partners in progress.
The Gateway International Trade Fair, which is the 11th in the series, has as its theme harnessing the agricultural value chain for sustainable industrial and economic development.
The Assistant Corps Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Okigwe Unit Command, Mr. Udong Bitrus, said that the Corps had returned cash recovered from an accident scene in Okigwe to victims' relatives. Bitrus disclosed this to newsmen on Thursday in Owerri as part of the developments after a fatal accident that occurred on Tuesday on Okigwe-Imaya Express Road in Okigwe local government area of Imo. It was reported that the accident claimed one life, while others sustained varying degree of injury. It was reported that FRSC officials had recovered cash from the victims of the crash during their rescue operation. Bitrus, who commended the FRSC personnel for their efforts during the rescue operation, cautioned against speeding and other traffic offenses by motorists. 12 suspects who were arrested in connection with the murder of Alagodu of Agodo, Oba Ayinde Odetola, have been remanded at the correctional sector of Abeokuta for 60 days at first instance. This is based on an ex parte application as the court awaits the State Director of Public Prosecution Legal Advice. Bumi Adigun was at the Magistrate Court, Itori, in Ewekoro local government, and he completes the story.
Agodo community under Ewekoro local government area used to be a lively community until the event of Monday 24th of January 2022 happened, and suddenly the community became deserted and a ghost town. Alagodu of Agodo, Oba Ayinde Odetola, was macheted to death, his body locked up in his car and was set on fire. 12 persons in connection with the gruesome murder of the royal father have now been arrested and brought before the magistrate court in Itori area of Ogun State. 12 of them in chains arrived at the court premises with scornful look. On the 3-count charge before the chief magistrate court, Itori, OF Adeduntan, that Abiodun Sonyaolu, Lukman Aziz, Fatai Rahman, Monsuru Rahman, Adeniyi Akinjiyan, Femi Akinjiyan, Ojo Olatidebe, Shegun Akinjiyan, Adewale Odunayo, Oladele Idowu, Sahid Rahman, and Ajibonshi Gbeminiyi, and others still at large conspired to commit felony, to wit, murder, and thereby committed an offense punishable under Section 320 Law of the Federation. That the 12 aforementioned did murder one Oba Olajide Ayinde Odetola, the Alagodo of Agodo town, and thereby committed an offense contrary to Section 316 and punishable under Section 319 of the Criminal Code Law of Ogun State of Nigeria 2006. That the 12 aforementioned did set ablaze the corpse of Oba Olajide Ayinde Odetola together with his Toyota Sienna car, thereby committed an offense contrary to Section 443 of the Criminal Code Law of Ogun State of Nigeria 2006. On an ex parte application by the State Council, Seidu Yunusa stated that the 12 be remanded at the Oba Correctional Center in Abeokuta for 60 days at first instance, based on the legal advice from the State Director of Public Prosecution, and it was granted by the Chief Magistrate, O.F. Adeduntan. Mild drama happened outside the Magistrate Court as 2 persons were identified as some of the suspects who carried out the killing and burning of the king, but came to court on disguise to know the outcome, and when his identity was revealed by one of the Agodo people at the court, he took to his heels but was eventually arrested with a lady and handed over to the police. The case was thereafter adjourned to the 17th of June. Bumi Adigun, OGTV News.
Up next is business news with Adebola Oshomoji.
Welcome to the business segment of the news. The value of capital importation into Nigeria increased by 26.35% to hit $2.19 billion in the fourth quarter of 2021, according to new data from the National Bureau of Statistics. In its Nigerian capital importation report, the NBS disclosed that capital importation increased from $1.73 billion in the third quarter of 2021 to $2.19 billion in the fourth quarter 2021. It said the total value of capital importation into Nigeria in the fourth quarter of 2021 stood at $2.19 billion from $1.73 billion in the preceding quarter, showing an increase of 26.3%. When compared to the corresponding quarter of 2020, capital importation increased by 109.28%, from $1.05 billion. The largest amount of capital importation by type was received through other investment, which accounted for 54.24%, amounting to $1.19 billion. The Director General of the Debt Management Office, Patience Oniha, has said borrowings by countries to finance budget deficit and critical infrastructure is not necessarily a bad idea. The DG, who disclosed this while speaking during an awareness program on security insurance organized by the Debt Management Office, DMO. According to her, government borrowings were done by all countries across the world, mostly to finance critical infrastructure, the multiplier effect of which could be overemphasized. Oniha reckoned with successive Nigerian government to have had to recourse to borrowing to fund budget deficit, adding that annual budget would be affected if funds were not raised to support them. The Nigeria Customs Service has said that it has not yet accepted the introduction of the e-valuator and e-invoicing for import and export businesses in Nigeria, otherwise known as benchmarking of the price of imported and exported cargoes, which was recently introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria. However, in a statement by the national spokesman of the NCS, Timi Bodobi, the service debunked claims in some sections of the media that it has already keyed into the introduction of the new CBN policy. The service still stands by its earlier submissions on the matter, as was clearly communicated to the House of Representatives Joint Committee on Customs and Excise, Banking and Currencies on 3rd March 2022. The move has raised objections from the critical stakeholders within and outside the industry, who have expressed valid concerns that require critical considerations. The Nigerian Port Authority, NPA, has said that 22 ships at the Lagos Port Complex were discharging petrol and others. The NPA and its daily shipping position said the ships were discharging bulk wheat, general cargo, container, frozen fish, ethanol, automobile gasoline, base oil, butane gas, bulk urea, and petrol. The authorities said that 26 other ships were expected to arrive at the port between March 23 to April 10. It listed the expected items as bulk wheat, general cargo, frozen fish, bulk sugar, butane gas, bulk gypsum, bulk salt, automobile gasoline, petrol, and containers. It indicated that 8 others had arrived at the port, waiting to battle with bulk wheat, container, base oil, petrol, and bulk sugar. And that was business news. Back to Okoyemi for the rest of our news.